Welcome back. Let's talk about grading the Colorado Avalanche during the pause. Now, before we get started, I just want to ask you to please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, which will alert you when my next video comes out, which will be about the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, last team I graded was the Columbus Blue Jackets there, and I'm grading all 31 NHL teams in reverse alphabetical order. We're almost done. I'll throw up some links to the last few teams I did up top. You can click on them at your leisure, but of course, you can find them all easily in my playlist. Now, the Avalanche. There's no fan in this league luckier than a Colorado Avalanche fan. The team moves from Quebec. They win a few cups. No big deal, right? Sure, they have some down years. Then they hire Joe Sakic, a Renaissance man, one of their most beloved players. And it turns out he's a half genius as well, as he's just turned this team into not just a serious contender right now, but for the foreseeable future. They're number one ranked in the hockey news when it comes to their prospect pool at this moment. They've got 5 guys ranked in the top 100 in that category. Just unbelievable. And then, of course, there's the signings he does. He gets guys to take less on contracts. And then there's some of the trades, which I'll mention right now, starting with last June. He sent Soderberg, their second-line center, to the Coyotes. He was going to be a UFA. They picked up a third-round pick and a depth defenseman in Connaughton. They picked up Burakovsky from the Washington Capitals. Then there was that, the Tyson Barrie Carefoot trade, who they sent them to Toronto. They got Nazem Kadri was the big piece of that, which is huge for them. They finally got a second-line center who can score and was gritty and is a good playmaker, former back-to-back 30-goal scorer. So that was definitely a good one. And then the most last mentionable one here is Vladislav Nemstinikov, who they got from the Ottawa Senators at the trade deadline for a 4th-round pick. He plays all forward positions, but he's playing the wing position on that second line for the most part. So just unbelievable. Now, in the past few seasons especially, Colorado's had at least 1 or 2 bumps in the road where they've gone on some kind of losing streak. And that hasn't happened this year. Notably, especially seeing as how they had a ton of injuries to very big and key players like McKinnon and Kadri and Burakovsky and Rantanen and so on and so forth. And they just keep on winning. It's nuts. Now, they won their last game of the season. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. They sit with 92 points. Just 2 points behind the St. Louis Blues for first place in the Central. And I know today was the day that the NHL said the regular season's over, and they have a new playoff format. But we're going to stick to this stuff for now. And they have a game in hand on St. Louis. So they could have very well have led the Central with those kind of injuries. That's just amazing how they did that. Now, let's go over some stats, some key stats for you, starting with the special teams. The power play this year was a bit of a disappointment, but seeing as how the injuries to all of its key players from that power play, it's not surprising. It was 7th last year. It's 19th this year. I think that'll change in the playoffs, and some teams will be surprised. The ones they're facing, that is. The penalty kill improved vastly. It was 25th last year. It's 13th this year. You can probably credit a bunch of players, but Belmar, whom they former Vegas Golden Knight, who they grabbed, was probably a key part to that as well. Now, wins, they're 4th in the league. Points, they're 3rd, tied with Tampa Bay Lightning. Goals for, they're 3rd in the league, tied with the Washington Capitals. Goals against, they're 7th, tied with the New York Islanders, and another team that I can't read my writing for. Who cares? Now, the face-off win percentage, they're 19th. Shots against per game, they're 17th. Shots for, they're 9th in the league. Now, a few key notes here. McKinnon ended up 5th on the point leaders list with 35 goals, 93 points. Just 2 points behind Panarin, and he's number 4 in the NHL in power play points as well. Cale Makar is the next Colorado player on the NHL point leader list, and he ranks 70th with 50 points. Now they also have 3 players in the top 21 in the plus-minus category in the NHL. Starting with number 1, Ryan Graves, the left shot defenseman, is a plus 40. Wow. Number 8, Valery Natushkin, the right winger, he's a plus 26. And number 21, left shot defenseman Ian Cole, who's plus 21. Now, Colorado also has the most power play opportunities in the league. With 241, 5 ahead of the Vancouver Canucks, who are one of the best power play teams in the league. So just imagine if those players weren't injured, seeing that stat, how much better their power play could have been. And last year, they had a plus 46 goal differential during the regular season as well. Only Boston and Tampa Bay are better. Yep. Now, let's quickly talk about some injuries here. They had a plethora of them over the season. Currently, McKinnon and Burakovsky are out with lower body injury, at least until June 15th, apparently. I had a hard time tracking down this info. Jonas Donskoy is apparently still day-to-day with a head injury. English. And according to Cat Friendly, the following players are still on the IR: Rantanen, Kadri, Grubauer, Calvert, and Wilson. I would think most of these guys are healthy and ready to start play again when the 24 playoff format begins. Now, let's talk about some individual players, starting with the goaltenders. And let's begin with Philip Grubauer. Now, he's 6'1", 188 pounds, 28 years old, be 29 in November. And he's got 1 more year on his contract for just over $3.3 million. And in 36 games this season, has a .916 save percentage. Respectable. Pretty good. I was a little bit hard on him in my season preview of this guy because I wanted to see more, especially in the playoffs. In last year's playoffs, by the way, in 12 games, he was a .925. He was fantastic. Then there's Pavel Francouz, who just sort of came out of nowhere as a backup, and it was wonderful. And he's not a young guy. He's 29 years old, from the Czech Republic, 6 foot, 180 pounds. They actually extended him for 2 more years for $2 million a season, and I'm kind of chuckling because in 34 games, he had a .923 save percentage. He was unbelievable. So it remains to see, how he does if he plays any games in the playoffs. But he did play 2 games for Colorado last season and had a .943 save percentage. So this is just a great goaltending duo they have. And then Michael Hutchinson played because Grubauer got hurt. Now he's played for a lot of teams, including the Leafs, whom they traded for him this season. He's 30 years old, 6'3", 198 pounds. He only played, how many games did he play? Only played 1 game, but had a .944 save percentage. I'm laughing because the guy is so up and down depending on the time of year and the team. In 15 games for Toronto this season, he had an .886. You could argue that their defense is nowhere near as good as Colorado's, and you'd be right. So maybe that's part of the reason. Now let's talk about defensemen and their top 4 point leaders, starting with Cale Makar, who's number 2 on the team in points. He's only 21 years old. 57 games he's played so far this season. Was hurt for a bit. Had 12 goals, most of any defenseman. 50 points. He's been a plus 12, averaged 21.01 a game. Second is Samuel Girard, who at 21 years old played all 70 games. I think only one of 2 players on the team to do so. Had 4 goals, 34 points. Was a plus 1, averaged 21.19 a game. That led the team. And then there's Ryan Graves, who's another young guy, 24 years old. Played 69 games, 9 goals, 26 points. Respectable, plus 40. Yeah, leads the NHL, averaged 18.57 a game. And then last I have here is Ian Cole on the 4th spot. The geezer at age 30. Played 65 games, 4 goals, 26 points. Plus 21, averaged 17.42 a game. Very balanced scoring throughout their defense. Can't say how impressive that is now. And I'm not even mentioning Eric Johnson, the right shot defenseman who's 32 years old. They have him signed for 3 more years at $6 million a season. And then don't forget Nikita Zadorov, who plays the right side on the bottom pairing, but is a left shot defenseman. He's that big, like hulking 6'5" monstrosity that you don't want to see in a corner. And he is an RFA at the end of the season with arbitration rights, by the way. And then there's a couple players I wanted to mention. One of them named Connor Timmins, who's ranked number 3 on the prospect list here. He's a right shot defenseman who might break the lineup next season. Now, he actually played some games. He's 6'2", by the way, 185 pounds. He's 21, but he'll be 22 in September. This is a kid who missed like over a year of hockey because of concussion symptoms and such. He only played 2 games for Colorado this season. No points, but a +2. In 40 games in the AHL, he had 3 goals, 27 points, was a -1. We'll see if he can make the team next year. But they already have so much depth on D. It's amazing. Maybe they trade someone. I don't know. He might actually keep Bowen Byram from making the team next year. That Colorado might just say, I'll leave him in the minors for one more season. We're good. Speaking of Bowen Byram, he's the number 1 prospect, also number 1 in the league, ranked by the Hockey News. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds, left shot D, by the way. 18 years old, but he'll be 19 on June 13th. It's my mother's birthday. And in the WHL, where he's playing right now in 50 games, he had for the Vancouver Giants 14 goals, 52 points, +19. And people are saying this is a slow season for the kid. Last season in 67 games, he had 26 goals, 71 points, was a +33. Wow. This team is just going to be good for like the next 15 years. It's just crazy. Let's talk about the forwards and their top point getters there. Starting with Nathan MacKinnon, of course, who's 24 years old, played 69 games, but was injured. Had 35 goals, 93 points, +13, averaged 21-13 a game. That's the most of any forward, and that's second on the team. Second in scoring is Burakovsky, a third on the team behind Makar. He's 24 years old, in 58 games. First season with the club, 20 goals, 45 points. Not shabby at all, especially seeing as how he was hurt. +11 and 15-12 a night he was playing. This is the kid they got from the Capitals. Third in scoring /4th. Third in scoring on forwards is Landeskog, 27 years old. He's part of that dynamic trio on the first line. In 54 games, he had 21 goals, 44 points, was a -2, which is tied for the worst on the team. A -2 is the worst on this team. Boom. Wow. Averages just over 20 minutes a game. Fourth on this list is Rantanen, who's definitely had his injury issues this year. He's only 23 years old, played only 42 games, 19 goals, 41 points. Didn't he have something like 80-something last season? Yeah, he was a -2 and averaged 18.57 a game. And I threw in Nazem Kadri here because I had to, being a Leaf fan. He's 29 years old, played 51 games, injury issues there as well. 19 goals and 36 points. I knew he'd easily hit 20 goals this season. Remember, this kid, season before last, had back-to-back 30-goal seasons. I think next year, if he stays healthy, he's quite capable of doing it for Colorado. He was a +7 and averaged 17.26 a game. Some other players I want to mention very quickly here. Former first-rounder Tylen Jost. He was drafted in 2016, 10th overall in the first round. 5'11", 187 pounds. He's 22, just had a birthday in March. And he's been a bit of a disappointment considering his draft ranking and all. His draft pedigree in 67 games, 8 goals, 23 points, +11. Okay, not bad, I guess. But, he may just be their future third-line center, and that'll be it. Or a guy they can plug into any forward spot, really. In 70 games last season, by the way, 11 goals, 26 points, -2. Then I wanted to mention Jonas Donskoy, who they picked up, former San Jose Shark. They signed him to a contract for $3.9 million for the next, including this season, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 more seasons after this. And in 65 games, 16 goals, 33 points, +2. Again, he got injured. Not bad. Not bad at all. Then there's Vladislav Nemstinikov, who they got at the trade deadline from Ottawa. He 27 years old. He'll be 28 though in November. Now he'll be a UFA at the end of the season. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him. He plays all four positions, remember, and he only had a chance to play 9 games with Colorado. Had 4 goals, 6 points, and +2. Pretty impressive. In 54 games with Ottawa, 13 goals, 25 points, -5. Let's see if they bring him in or not, or they give one of the kids an opportunity to take that role. Starting with Martin Kaut. Now, he is ranked number 5 on their prospect pool list. He's 20 years old. He'll be 21 in October. 6'1", 174 pounds. He's from the Czech Republic. And he actually played 9 games with Colorado, had 2 goals, 3 points, -1. Not shabby at all. In 34 games with in the AHL, 5 goals, 18 points, +10. This kid should get a shot next year. And then I wanted to quickly mention Logan O'Connor, who's ranked number 10 on their prospect list. He's a right wing. He's 23 years old. He'll be 24, though, in August. 6 foot, 175 pounds. And he saw 16 games with the Avalanche this season. Had 2 goals, 2 points. Plus minus is 0. In 40 games in the AHL, the Colorado Eagles had 12 goals, 25 points, +8. He's a two-way player. Maybe he'll challenge Jost for that third line spot and bump him to the wing. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I got to give this team easily. I'm going to give them an A+. The first and maybe only team I do that with. Their now looks so good. Their future looks good. I would love to hear how you would grade this team. I think they're going to go. I think they can go very far, at least to the Western Conference Finals. That's another video, though. But please let me hear from you. Let's see your grade in the comment section down below. That's it. That's all. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And yeah, in this crazy world we're living in, please stay safe out there. And if you can, stay home. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.